Hey everyone, how are you doing? Thank you for clicking on the second channel here. I try to be more calm on the second channel, more relaxed, and just talking, just kind of putting some thoughts out there what we're seeing here. So, Hood and Sofi. I with what's gone on this week with the market selling off, this was a little bit of a special moment too. When the market when we've been running so hot in the market, it's kind of, you lose track of what is reality. You really do. And because we're having fun, we're making money, the market's going crazy, and you go like, oh my God, this is crazy. Especially when you've come out of a bear market for the past few years. So now that we find ourselves in this market, I think it's safe to say wherever you've been this year in the market, you've probably done well on a few positions at least. You've had some good runs here. With this sell-off that we've seen this week, obviously it's been bad. Yesterday, Friday, the S&P dropped dramatically around 10, 11 o'clock, noon, and then it just shot back up. Dramatic. A tsunami of money was flooded back in the market. So, totally crazy. And obviously, there's the whole Trump tariff thing that will be going on Wednesday. We'll see what the Supreme Court says here. But too, it's like, will the market get over it fast, or will the market go like, we really don't like this? I think what we have to look at right now when these market crashes happen is, what is the bottom with stocks that we're in? SoFi pushed down yesterday to $24, $25. Hood went down to low 120s. That's still pretty high. Okay. And this could be a moment in time of where, this is where the arguing starts. I get it 100%, but, do we recover? Does the market recover? Do we just, does the market care enough to keep selling off? Even with these quarterlies that we just went through, that generally from the banks, the AI, they were good. A lot of them, there was more good than there was bad. The problem is there's a lot of drama with the economics right now, with things that, people are concerned about in the market. Some of them have been there all year, and they're just coming up again. There's obviously issues, but there's a lot of things that are good too. This is where investor meets industry here, and you really have to say, okay, if I'm going to stay in this market, I'm going to push into this market, I want to be a part of growing good stocks. And I think that's where, we look at Robinhood, we look at SoFi, and we go, listen, no matter what happens here, these are companies that I am going to be attached to for a long time, and I'm okay to ride this roller coaster with them wherever they go. Matter of fact, I'm gonna start buying more of them. And I said that. I've said that this week where I've been buying. I've been a buyer this week, and there's going to be people that find that crazy, and I get that. Some people told me that was completely wrong thing to do. That's okay. It's not your money. I get it, but whatever happens with this moment here in the market, I'm willing to ride out, and I'm going to ride out a long relationship with, especially Robinhood and SoFi. I really am. I think these are very special, innovating companies. Okay, I guess what I'm trying to say, that they are really going against the grain of what other banks are doing, and I think they're going to be huge problems for other banks in the future here, especially when we get more into software, we get more into AI with the banking systems. Okay, with that conversation, before I break down one of these stocks individually and talk about them, but this really applies to both of them. Both these companies are highly focused on obviously bringing the bank to you as an individual on your phone, your computer, wherever you're at. Whatever you need help with right then and there, they want to make it happen. They're not wanting you to go to a brick and mortar store. They're not wanting that. They're wanting to make this happen as soon as possible. You need money, they want to figure out how to get you money. You want a credit card, they want to help you get a credit card. So these are things they're wanting to do. With that too, they're very much wrapped up in technology. They're very wrapped up in crypto. And I really try to think, what do banks look like in the future? What does money mean? What is this in the future? How money is circulated, how crypto is used. Do we actually have a world, a year, 2 years, 5 years from now, where crypto is actually implemented into society? In Robinhood and Sofi that have already been talking about this kind of system, they're already set up for it. They're ready for transactions. They're ready to go. That's something that I really think about. And if that does happen, or when it happens, early investors at that moment will have the best day of their life, because that'll be a situation of where we go, oh my God, like, this is huge. This is huge. What if one of these banks are one of the first banks to really start utilizing crypto? And if you don't understand crypto, you don't use crypto, you don't invest in crypto, that's okay. You don't have to. These companies are essentially doing it for you, but you need to know it's a big situation, it's a big thing, and it's probably coming regardless. I don't think crypto is going to be stopped by anyone, but it will be something that will be very financially beneficial for each one of these companies. So I look at Robinhood here, and obviously they both just had quarterlies, and I mean we're getting close to neck and neck here. That's what's so fun about it right now. It's really fun for both. If you're an investor in both these companies, you're obviously rooting for both of them. But Robinhood here just came out their quarterlies here this week, and they were, thank God, they were good. I mean, it is so stressful when you are investing in a company and you are rooting for this company to come out with good quarterlies. You're like, please, God, please let them come out with good quarterlies. And Robinhood did not disappoint. And that was a big thing that was on Robinhood's spreadsheet. And they made it be known that, a lot of that extra money that we had pushing them up into this billion plus zone, was from crypto transactions. They made a ton of money off of crypto transactions, people trading it. So with that, Robinhood just came out with this great quarterly. Oh man, fantastic! That's great. They needed it. And what it's going to do, and it was proven. There's proof in the pudding this week, because we had the market sell off. And don't kid yourself, if Robinhood did not come out with this aggressive quarterly, if they would have come out with a quarterly that was under $1 billion, dude, this thing would have been ripped apart this week. I mean, the hyenas would have been on it. I mean, this thing would have sunk down to 100 to maybe 90 some dollars. Don't even think it wouldn't. It would have been ripped apart, because people would have been like, oh my God, like, they're not even making $1 billion quarterlies anymore. What's going on here? I mean, it would have been bad news. But Robinhood here, it held this, so you're telling me the worst we can see right now is 120, 121, not even the one teens, we're not even in the teens. This is wild. That's pretty wild. So obviously, I realize the market can take another turn down the hill here. I know there's another cliff that, the market can just easily topple over here. It is interesting that the market came back at the end of the day here, that the market did not close so terribly. It came back here. But talking about Robinhood, if you're in this for the long run, there's no doubt that this company is going to be they're going to keep innovating. It's just what it's going to be here. If you're buying it, hold it. What do you got? What do you got to lose here? You should. I think when you make a decision for a stock that of all is new, a company that's new, it's very popular, and it's still the most important thing. It's making great revenue. It should be a marriage with that stock for a moment. And obviously, there may be I guess there will be a divorce somewhere, because you will let go of some of it probably. You may say somewhere down the road, well, we've done so well, I'm going to give some of you back, and you're going to sell some of your shares of Robinhood, Sofi. Maybe that's a terrible analogy, but at least the marriage part works for me in my head. I believe in it. I'm living with it. It's gonna, we're gonna have good days and bad days. This is how I'm looking at Robinhood. I'm looking at Sofi, other stocks that I have chosen to believe in, and I think that are going to continue to do well over the next 5 to 10 years. So Robinhood here, yeah, I mean, this is proven to be something very special. It really is. Say what you want about the trading app, all that. Robinhood, no doubt about it, they have captured the zeitgeist with trading apps. It's just where people are going to go. They have made it simple, easy, efficient, everything right there in the palm of your hand. They've done it. They've achieved it. It's going to keep getting better. And two, with Robinhood this year coming out with their very technical part of trading, where they came out with their candlestick chart, different ways they could do it. That was big for investors. That was huge. That was something that day traders, swing traders were wanting really bad. We're seeing Robinhood get better and better here every year, and I think that's going to continue 100%. So, be encouraged by Robinhood. Be encouraged that this is a phenomenal, spot to be in right now. And then SoFi, it is so crazy that SoFi is still so cheap right now. It blows my mind that the stock is still under $30. I do think that if the market comes back here, I know it's a dangerous thing to say right now, and maybe it's a very immature thing to say right now. I get that, but no matter who you are, we really don't know when this is going to be it for the market. There's going to have to be major devastation for the market just to flatten out, okay? I mean, even here Friday at the end of the week, I think it was a lot of proof that the market is just looking for an excuse to run here. I mean, a lot of money poured back into the market here at the end of the day. SoFi, I bought it at this low position that it was today. I was like, oh my God. I started buying it. I was like, oh my God. I'm very curious to see what SoFi is going to do this year. I'm Robinhood, I'm very curious, but Robinhood has had this was like the year for Robinhood in running. What I'll say about Robinhood, I'll say this, and I want to be very careful how I say this. I don't know how much more meat is left on the bone at these high prices for Robinhood. Now, Robinhood, when the market comes back here, when Robinhood going back to 130s, 140s, 150s, I don't think that is that crazy. Okay, we've been there. We know people are willing to pay it. Okay, but beyond that, right there, Robinhood's going to get into this conversation of Palantir talk, where people are going to be like, well, it's way overpriced. They're going to have to keep coming out with these major quarterlies, and maybe they will, maybe they won't. But I do think they're going to continue to come out with these very good quarterlies, but how aggressive they're going to be on top of each quarterly, that's it's a guessing game at this point, okay? But two, I do think over time they're going to continue to build and build and build with high quarterlies, Robinhood. So, saying that, Robinhood's a very expensive stock, no doubt about it. When we look at SoFi, this is a very blue-collar, affordable stock for most investors. Hey, I can afford half a share, a whole share. I can afford 5 shares, whatever it be. With that, I have said this before, but I do think that Robinhood, if we see maybe a start to a really good year, half a year of next year in the market, SoFi has a really good chance of leapfrogging into some very high positions. And I don't know why it won't. I really don't. It has everything it needs. When SoFi comes out with this next quarterly, and undoubtedly it's going to be in the $1 billion range, billion plus, okay? That is going to be it. It's going to be posted all over Wall Street. It's going to be posted everywhere. Everyone's going to know about it. And that's it. When that happened, at the end of, technically it happened at the beginning of the year here for Robinhood, it changed everything. When Robinhood hit that $1 billion plus quarterly, it changed everything. I do think that road is very possible for SoFi here. Really think about that. It's a very real possibility. I think there's a very real possibility that SoFi could pass Robinhood by this time next year in revenue, because Robinhood here, they're doing great in revenue, no doubt about it. Thank God. Robinhood, with it's a little more rocky on quarterlies, and this quarterly that they just came out with, they achieved that quarterly because of that surge in crypto transactions. Well, obviously Can they repeat the process? Can they make that money up somewhere? I'm not saying that to be bearish on it. I'm just saying that because it's a very high priced stock right now. Now, like I said, I want to bring a double-edged sword here. I love Robinhood, but I am curious to see the growth pattern of Robinhood here in 2026. I love both of these stocks. I really do. But I am curious to see, can SoFi catch up? Will SoFi catch up? Will they catch up by Q1 of next year? Will they beat Robinhood? Could you imagine a world next year where SoFi beats Robinhood in quarterlies, and maybe SoFi at that point is like a $50 stock and Robinhood is $120 to $160 stock, somewhere in that range? It's going to be a huge problem for Robinhood, because then people are going to be looking at Robinhood and going like, why am I paying 160 or 100 plus for this stock when I can go buy SoFi for half the price? It's going to get interesting. It's going to get really interesting. It doesn't mean that Robinhood's going to have a bad future or not make it. Robinhood's undoubtedly going to do well. I mean, they're going to do well just off their trading app, and plus what they're breaking into. But SoFi, man, this was a good year, but next year, this is going to get really. I love when companies are competitive towards each other. They know it too. They know it. Don't be fooled. They know they're top competitors with each other. It's gonna be fun to see what happens here this year. I love this stuff. I really do. I get it's dorky and it's not interesting to some people, but this is going to be, by the summer of next year, it's going to be very interesting, if they're neck and neck or one of them, SoFi's taking the lead here. It's going to be really interesting. Friends, I want to wish you all the best of luck and have a great weekend. I will talk to you soon. Bye, everyone.